I saw somebody getting impatient. First golden rule in agriculture is patience. Always keep patience because agriculture can be very demanding and it needs a lot of patience. Never panic, never get impatient because what you're getting into hydroponics will test your patience. I've been 20 years in this field and I was an impatient man when I started. Today, I don't understand impatience. I don't understand panic. I'm ready for tomorrow. Anyway, good morning, guys, and welcome to my last and final training program online for 2020. And looking at the good side of COVID-19, I was able to come out with my online programs, and at least about 200 to 250 students have benefited. Some have gone on to start their own gardens, pilots, and have begun learning. So I would request all of you to mute your microphones because when I'm speaking, if there's any disturbance, it comes in the way of my flow of thought. Since I don't show you PowerPoint presentations or read a book to you, I need a absolute smooth flow of my thoughts so that all of you can benefit. So request all of you to keep your microphones muted. And as we finish each and every topic, there will be a question and answer session. Keep writing down your questions and all of the questions will be answered. If I don't know something, I'll find out the answer and tell you. Right. So welcome to the thorny, hard, difficult world of soilless agriculture. The internet has already told you enough and more about the rosy side of agriculture. They've shown you enough moon on your palm or the Excel sheet agriculture. Today, this morning, I would like to tell you that I'm not here to give you a Rolls Royce or give you formulas in agriculture because there aren't any. I searched for agricultural formulas on Amazon and Flipkart. I looked for, I tried to buy some experience on Flipkart and Amazon, but I found they don't sell any. All that you can get or buy is knowledge, and knowledge when applied becomes experience, and when done over a period of time becomes expertise. Today, when I teach you, I must tell you that I know nothing. Whatever I teach you is from the margins of my ignorance. 20 years down the line, I'm still learning. So all I'm going to be telling you today is a guide. It's not a formula. For those of you who have been watching YouTube and getting excited and getting quotations from different companies in India, I must tell you that I'm going to bust almost every myth that exists in this market. And I'm happy and glad that you've come to me because I don't pull any punches. I tell you the truth and nothing but the truth.
Okay, it's fine. Yes, it's fine now.
Right. So hydroponics, as you all know, we keep using the word hydroponics, and we sometimes go over to see somebody's farm. And then I've seen people sarcastically commenting saying, oh, this is not hydroponics. It's not growing in water. The funny part is very few people know that hydroponics is a minor, smaller subject that comes under soilless horticulture. So any of you who have this feeling that hydroponics is the main subject, please take it out of your pocket, throw it out, and keep listening. Right. Many of you must have already been reading on the internet, YouTube, and things like that. And I'm sure most of you are very confused whom to believe, what to believe. The tomato farmer in California says something. The tomato farmer in Bangkok says something else. The guy in Bangalore says something else. Somebody says NFT channel should be 10 degrees sloped, and somebody says 40 degrees sloped. Somebody says no, it should be parallel. And now you're all lost in this quagmire of information. Gentlemen, I started my journey in Australia 20 years ago. And I can tell you, I entered into this field not knowing anything. And it has been a very, very hard journey, and it continues to be so. Even today, I see challenges in farming. I see challenges in my training institute where my students are studying. And I can tell you, the challenges never end, and they're never going to end anytime soon. We're living in a world of global warming, and the challenges only keep increasing. And you must remember that whatever you're going to be doing is going to get more challenging as the years and decades go further. Now, soilless agriculture. Soilless agriculture, why? There's so much of soil all around the world on this planet. There's so much of soil that why should we ever think about soilless agriculture? And it is wrong to think that soilless agriculture is going to replace all kinds of soil agriculture. It only addresses a portion of the problem. We cannot grow mango trees and jackfruit trees in soilless agriculture. Yes, you can, but it's not going to make any benefit in terms of cost to benefit. So we can grow limited stuff like vegetables, flowers, herbs, and medicinal herbs and culinary herbs. And that's it. I mean, there are very few things, and fruits like watermelon, muskmelon, maybe some passion fruit, maybe strawberry and stuff like that. But it's not to say that we can't try anything else, because unless we try and fail, we won't know whether it works or it doesn't work. So soilless agriculture, as I said, is just addressing a small portion of horticulture. And today and tomorrow, I'll be touching upon various subjects and topics one by one. And I would request all of you who have any myths, beliefs, concepts, dogmas, and whatever it may be in your subconscious mind, I would suggest that you either suppress them completely or take them out and keep them outside this classroom for the next 2 days. I promise you, I will try and my best to answer every single question that is possible. Like I said, I speak from the margins of my ignorance. There might be things which I don't know, and maybe I need to find out and tell you. I will do that. And just remember, this program will run till the time every question and answer session is over with all questions answered. I have time. I don't know about you. I can sit till midnight on the Zoom meeting and answer your questions. So don't worry at any time. I know some of you would jump the gun at some points where when I'm teaching you something, you may ask me something else, but every possible thing is covered in this course. It's one of the most intensive courses in this country, possibly around the world. So, gentlemen, we start with soilless. What does soil do? Soil holds moisture, soil holds nutrition, and soil gives the plant the ability to stay straight and erect. It gives anchorage to the plant. Over the years, it has happened that soil has been degraded because of mindless plundering of the soil, mindless use of fertilizer, mindless use of pesticide, and the like. Most of the soils are so badly depleted around the world that people have started to look, not now, maybe 80, 90 years ago, to alternative methodologies to mitigate these circumstances that were only getting worse by the day. So, in soilless agriculture, we replace the soil with either solid media or we replace it with just water as a media. One of the things I need to tell all of you is that soilless agriculture is the hardest, most intensive horticulture in the whole wide world. It's not as easy. It's not easy peasy. It's not that you got an app and you got artificial intelligence as the market would want you to believe. It is not so. You still, with all your sensors, with everything, every technology at your disposal, will still need to be in your greenhouse minimum 10 to 12 hours a day. When I say that, I mean what I say. Even in the Netherlands, in Israel, which are highly developed in horticulture, the agronomists and the junior agronomists and the sub-junior agronomists, they spend sometimes even 14 hours a day. It's that intensive. Why is it so intensive? It is intensive because when you grow something in soil, the soil has enough and more buffering ability. A plant, if not watered for a day, nothing will much will happen. The plant's roots will somehow find the water. It may even steal the water from the next fellow. It may steal the nutrients from the other plant. Whereas here, the buffering capacity, for example, in solid media like cocoa peat has lesser buffering capacity, and the worst is water as such. People keep running behind NFT, NFT, NFT. It's become such a buzzword in this country. People don't even know that growing plants with just water is the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing. Today and tomorrow, when I'm teaching you, you will find me always talking a Maruti 800 application more than a Lamborghini. The reason I say so is because agriculture has to be done in the simplest, most inexpensive manner without compromising on certain things. So if you want to make money in agriculture and you think that you can put a Rolls Royce system out there, and if you're willing to take your return on investment in 50 years, go for it. Here today is to tell you all that there are easy methods of doing things. If you have the right skill, you can master any kind of technology. It's the understanding of how to grow plants that matter. It is not technology, it's not your land, it's not your money, it's nothing. Money can't grow plants. Land alone cannot grow plants. The man behind it, it's any technology in the world, it's a man behind it. Like in the Indian Navy, we used to say, it's not the gun, it's the man behind the gun. You may have the best Bofors gun, but you don't know how to take aim. God save you. So it's just that. So in today's India, a lot of hydroponic is going on, a lot of hype and hype is happening. But I can tell you one thing, there are more failures. There are more failures than successes only because people think skill is not important. Just put a few plants with net pots into a pipe, circulate some water, and voila, money in the Paytm. It doesn't happen that way. Again, there are people running behind interior. That means systems that are in the basements or inside buildings with LED lighting, with a lot of vertical farming, with air conditioning running 365 days a year. And they are trying to prove that that kind of farming is workable, is viable. It really isn't. There are 120 vertical farms, modern farms in Japan. Most of them are put by companies that are on the Fortune 500 list. But for them, it's R&D. $10 million, $15 million out of $1 billion really doesn't matter to them. Just about 3-4 years ago, I remember reading an article where the Japanese government admitted and said, out of these 120 vertical farms, just about 2 of them just about break even. Just about break even. Now, we can understand that those big companies can take losses because actually speaking, they're not interested in selling the vegetables. What they are doing is they are doing research and development and looking at the future 100 years down the line. But if you are getting into that kind of a situation, you're not here to do R&D. You're here to make money, growing crops, selling them in the market, and getting a good deal out of it. So there are many myths that are spread in this market. Plants grow 100 times faster. Plants grow 50 times faster. There is no pest and disease in hydroponics and soilless agriculture. There is no disease, there's no pest. Wow, wow, wow. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's clap to that. How do pests and disease understand whether a plant is growing in a hydroponic method or in a soilless method or in soil or in organic method? They just don't understand. They don't have that kind of discerning ability to know that. So it's like saying there's a pest flying and coming and suddenly sees, oh my God, there's hydroponic here. Let's run for your life. Come on. You will realize tomorrow, towards the end, I will be teaching you something called hydroponics. And I'll tell you how and why at that point. Keep guessing. Now, so there are so many different kinds of myths that are spread. Five-star hotels will pay top dollar, grow all the most exotic vegetables in the world. And, if you can get through a purchase manager of a five-star hotel, I will resign my job. I will resign what I do. If you tell a five-star hotel manager, I need 300 rupees for my cherry tomato, he may offer you 15 rupees, 20, and that's where it begins. So the thing is, one has to understand that what you're getting into is not what the rosy side of the internet is trying to tell you. I must say, I must say it on record, that this industry today is like a pawn shop. It's all about pipe, and all the plastic industries are minting money. The guys selling you these pipe systems are making enough and more money. They set it up, and then you ask them anything related to the growing side, and it's all tata bye bye. Therefore, you've done good, all of you who have decided to come for this course, because I will bring your Maruti, I will make your Lamborghini into a Maruti 800 by the time this course is completed. Okay, so there is something called genetic potential. Genetic potential can be for any animal, it can be for fish, it can be for mammals, it can be for anybody. There's something called genetic potential. We all have talent. We all have the same brains, similar brains. We eat similar food, but some reach a little far, some don't. That's because you haven't reached your potential, because you're not put that effort. Now let's translate that to plants. When you look at plants, plants have something called genetic potential. So, for example, if there is a tomato variety, let's call it Priya 120. Priya 120 tomato plant is a indeterminate variety of tomato, and the seed company tells us that yes, this should give you a minimum 5 kilos of tomatoes during its life cycle. If it reaches 5 kilos or even goes ahead of 5 kilos, that means the plant has been taken to the genetic potential. In Australia, the farmers who do soilless agriculture, they use a word called steering the crop. It's like you're sitting in your car and you're steering from point A to point B. So from day one, when you put the seed in and it germinates, you take the plant to its genetic potential. To be able to take your plant to the genetic potential, you need to have skill, and you need to have immense amount of horticultural skill. If any one of you think it's synthetic, there are formula, there are apps where you press buttons and things happens, it doesn't happen that way. Then you need to rethink your journey ahead. Right. So, like I said, skill is paramount. Without the skill, don't put even 1 rupee into this project, because you're going to fail. There are a lot of people who call me. I've got 1,000 acres. I have thousands of crores. And the one big list of vegetables they send me. We want to get into exports. Recently, I had somebody from Calcutta who called me and said, we are into warehousing. We have 5 lakh square feet of rooftop space. We want to start immediately on that space. In 2 years, we want to move and have almost 20 million square feet in 2 years. I kept listening. So finally, I asked him, who's going to run the show? There are enough people to run the show. I said, where will you get them from? Oh, there are a lot of BSc agriculture graduates, there are MSc agriculture graduates, there are doctorates, PhDs in the field. We'll just get them, pay them, and they'll do the job. So I said, I'm looking for an assistant for the last 20 years. I haven't found one. If you have any spare, please, I would like to employ one of them. What I'm trying to say is, when you work in hydroponics or in soilless agriculture, you must understand that the person working or the persons working inside maybe a poly house or a shade house or just out about in the open, you cannot have semi-skilled or unskilled workers, because this technology is one of the most unforgiving sciences that you can ever imagine. The window of opportunity for taking action, of the window of opportunity when you must make an observation, is limited in time. So, is my voice breaking, guys?
Yes, sir.
Voice is too much disturbing.
Yes, sir.
Breaking? Is my voice breaking?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. I'll just try and fix it. Can you all hear me now?
Much clear. It's clear now.
Okay. I'll just keep the video muted for a while, because I think it's a bandwidth problem. Normally it doesn't happen, but it happens sometimes. So do bear with the technological glitch. Right. So talking about the windows of opportunity, here in this particular type of situation, the plants, if they're growing in grow bags, if they're growing in grow bags, or if they're growing in containers, what happens is the plants can't speak, they can't tell you their problem, they can't get out of the grow bag and go walk and find their water and their nutrients like soil plants do. Therefore, one has to understand that when you get into this field, you cannot be doing two jobs. You cannot be doing two jobs, because you are required with the to be with the plants most of the day, from early morning 6 o'clock right up to 6:30, 7:30, 8 sometimes in your farm. I know that's not good news for many of you, but this is the truth. If you are entering into this field, your complete lifestyle needs to go through a massive change. If you get into this field, you must understand that all your lifestyle which you had earlier, your Saturday pubbing, hmm, all these things will come mostly to an end. Then you need a lot of family support. Without family support, this is going to be very difficult. And there are only three formats in which hydroponic farming or soilless farming works. One is a group of friends who come together, learn together, skill together, and then they run a farm. So one day, if someone's not there, the other person can always fill in. The other format is family format, where husband, wife, children, cousins, uncles, aunties all get together and run a farm. But that kind of a thing mostly happens in countries which are developed countries and large countries like Australia, Canada, United States, where you'll find that more predominant. The third and the last format that works is the corporate format, where it's a company and everything runs like a corporate style. So that is the third one. Never ever try to enter into commercial hydroponics or soilless cultivation, only you being the person knowing or having the skill. It can be very, very hazardous, disastrous, and dangerous. The reason I say that, because if one day you're sick and you're not there, you can't put a gardener out there and say, water the plant. It doesn't work. There are people in this country who have put crores of rupees into large NFT systems, into a lot of things, and the people running the show are not skilled people. They are what we call as ordinary gardeners. Now, they don't realize that there is science in everything that we do in soilless agriculture. It is not a rocket science, but It's a perfect science. So that is the end of module number 1. And module number 1 was an introduction to hydroponics and things like that. So also, let me just tell you, hydroponics is a subset of a larger subject called soilless agriculture or soilless horticulture. Hydroponics is basically two words. Hydro in Latin means water, and ponics comes from the word ponos from Greek, which means labor or working. So you can call it water working or working with water, whichever way you like. This word hydroponics was coined by Dr. William Garrick in the United States in 1932. And today, people, when they speak about hydroponics, they say with this, the way they say it, it looks like they're doing some NASA project or something like that. Anyway, so having said that, um, you must understand, when we talk of media culture, that is solid media. The media can be rock wool, it can be sponge, it can be volcanic rock, it can be sawdust, it can be rice husk, it can be cocoa peat. Any of those are the solid media. We call that as media culture. One is media culture and the other is just water culture, or plain water with the roots growing, floating or in the water. That is called hydroponics. So we will talk a little more about different kinds of systems as we move forward. So this is the basic introduction. That is module 1. Any of you have any questions, please do ask, and do not ask any technical questions yet, for the simple reason that we will be covering many topics at that point in time. Your questions would become more relevant. Thank you for listening to me patiently. And I know I might have scared a few of you, but I would rather scare you and make you err on the side of caution. So that is what is very important. Anyone's got a question, please do ask. No questions? How many of you been doing hydroponics earlier?
Sir, sorry to
Yes,
interrupt.
please go ahead.
Sir, I wanted to ask, like, as you said that hydroponic is a subset of soilless culture. So what else
Yeah.
does comes in soilless culture?
There are only two ways. One is soilless soilless culture, but then you have aquaponics. That also is a part of comes under soilless agriculture. Aeroponics also is soilless because there is no use of soil. Any kind of technology that does not use soil comes under as a subset of a main topic or a main subject called soilless horticulture.
Okay, so hydroponic mainly includes media-based culture.
No,
So,
that's what I'm trying to tell you. Soilless agriculture, hydroponics is a part of it.
okay, okay.
Any other questions?
Hello. Sir, can you
Please announce your name when you.
this is Pradnya from Pune. Can you please elaborate
Yes, Pradeep.
on the buffering that you said? Buffering
Yeah,
cap.
buffering. When I said, yeah, when I said buffering, what I mean is plants growing in soil left one day without watering may not actually die. They'll still survive because plants also have survival instinct. In the process of having survival instinct, the plant's roots will somehow or the other tap into some amount of moisture, whatever it can get, and also try and pick up some nutrients in the process. Whereas when you grow in a media like soilless media, like media culture, like say cocoa peat, if your cocoa peat in the grow bag goes dry and the plant has no way to get water, it cannot get out of the grow bag, walk somewhere, go and get it, unlike in soil agriculture. So soil has got that kind of buffering ability and plants can still survive. Whereas when you grow it in this manner, you must remember, you are responsible for your plant. You're totally responsible. It means you need to be there, give the plant water, make sure that it gets all the required things that empower its growth or its survival. Water is even worse. Water is even worse than cocoa peat, because if you have an NFT system and if it's a NFT, I mean, I'll be describing it in the next module, nutrient film technique. And say, for example, the pump is stopped or the electricity is gone and there's no more flow of water and it's a very hot day. If the water evaporates completely and the roots stay dry for even 25 to 30 minutes, you could kill your plants in the process. So while many people think that water media is best and they get impressed by these pipes and stuff like that, then what happens is that the plants need more attention from the grower. It is not to say that NFT doesn't work. It does work, but it's a lot of hard work and needs a lot of diligence. It's not that you know the pump is on and the water is running, so you can go for a movie and come back. So that's not going to happen when you do commercially at any stage. Does that answer your question, Pradnya?
Yes, thank you.
Right, guys. If if you have any more questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we take a short break, 5 minutes, and then we'll be back again. Anyone's got a question?
Hi, Vinay here, sir. So
Hello,
just
Vinay.
I just wanted to ask you to what extent the buffering can be mimicked in case if it is a coco peat, like in the soil. So is it something it's very difficult to mimic that behavior, or is it we need to water it regularly, and then is there some sort of feeling or something?
As I mentioned to you, when you grow plants in this method, you are trying to mimic nature. When you try to mimic nature, what happens is you are literally trying to play God. So what happens here is the plant is like your child. It feels thirsty, it feels hungry, and if you don't water it on time, it goes through various types of stresses, and in the process, the plants will not be able to reach genetic potential. So because soils have a lot of diseases by nature and other problems of salinity, excessive amount of heavy metals, when we use soilless media, we eradicate the need for those kind of things. So that is the reason we use soilless horticulture, or we mitigate those circumstances which are bad by using this technology. But every technology has its own challenges and calls for various actions to be taken. With the amount of diligence needed in soilless agriculture is far higher than what happens in soil. Does that answer?
Yeah, got it.